The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, while the attention is on the Cuban health professionals working in the Bahamas, the Bahamas Nurses Union is asking about the engagement of 35 Ghanaian nurses and their quick processing, as more than 24 Bahamian nurses work with no official paperwork or engagement. We go in depth tonight. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Davis says the Bahamas will not be dictated to or bullied to do what's not in the best interest of the country and its people. Prime Ministers Ingram and Minnis seen laughing over coffee and lunch yesterday. Their appearance has tongues wagging and fueling speculation. What are your thoughts of the two meeting over a lengthy lunch? We hope we have some answers for that question this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, more than 20 Bahamian nurses are reportedly working since 2023 in the public health clinics, waiting for their documents to be processed. The issue there is that the public health sector is awaiting the arrival of 35 Ghanaian nurses who were all approved and reportedly made official last year. That's where the Bahamas Nurses Union comes in, with questions in need of answers. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines this evening, President of the Bahamas Nurses Union, Muriel Lightborn. Good evening to you, Madam President. It's good to have you here.
Good evening to Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas.
You have an issue with what I just said a moment ago with the 35 Ghanaian nurses from Ghana, nurses engaged to work in the Bahamas from Ghana, who have been processed, approved, I think sometime last year, and are awaiting, I guess, to be brought over officially. What is the issue with that when we know that there's a nursing shortage?
This is my issue, Shanique. We have sources have told me that these 35 Ghanaian nurses have been approved. Everything for them to come to work has been processed, and they are just awaiting their tickets for arrival into this country. I have a big problem with that, Shanique, when we have 26 of our nurses who are still waiting. They are working in the clinics as we speak, 26 from 2023, and they have not yet been engaged with the government to say that they are hired and they are working.
Well, I'm going to ask you under what conditions are they working, but first I have to ask this question. You said sources have told you. Are these credible, reliable sources?
Reliable sources have told me. As a matter of fact, it was reported on the news on yesterday that these 35 Ghanaian nurses and 6 doctors will be arriving into the Bahamas to take up employment. Now, I was in meetings, so I didn't hear the news, and I didn't get it from one person. A number of persons called me. As a matter of fact, 1 or 2 of the nurses that are still awaiting appointments had called me, and she said, Madam President, this ain't working for me. As a matter of fact, she went as far as saying, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to go elsewhere for employment. Now, on my way coming here, I got a call that there are persons, recruiters, hiring persons, nurses in New York, whether they are potential nurses, whether they are nurses, whatever they are.
You mean our Bahamian officials are hiring nurses?
No, there are officials in the U.S., persons in the U.S.
we know that
who are hiring,
Bahamian
recruiting nurses right now.
Well, we know that
and
because
so we hear our nurses.
We can talk about that. In fact,
Exactly.
I may ask you about your thoughts about the Cuban thing, but I know you're not here to talk about that. But the next segment we'll touch on that because the U.S. continues to deplete our system. We know that. We know that. And therefore the need to bring in. But that ain't your point. Bringing in ain't necessarily the point.
My
want to
point
say
is,
before you bring in.
Right.
So let's
make
just talk
sure
about
my nurses are confirmed and working.
Point well taken. I want to ask you this. How are they working? Are they working? Because we know there's something in the public service where people are working month to month or whatever that system is called. How are these nurses employed?
Well, how are they employed? Technically is during your nursing training, you do your rotation. So once you finish, wherever you are, that's where you work until your engagement. Oh. You see, so once they would have passed the exams, they would have gotten their licensure as a registered nurse.
Right.
Wherever they were when they rotate, that's where they are.
It's almost like, the musical chairs game.
Right.
So whenever the music stops, you stay there.
If that's where you are, that's where you engage.
So you mean they've been playing musical chairs as they studied, and the music has now stopped because they are now registered nurses. So they are made to stop right there.
Right where they are.
Wherever they are. And since 2023, they've been right there
working,
waiting to be called in.
To be called in, to be engaged. Now, I have been going, and I've been asking them, what is happening with these nurses and their appointments? Shanique, it's in commission.
What's commission?
It's in commission.
What is that?
Public Service Commission. If Public Service Commission could get those 35 Ghanaian nurses, their things could come, or their documents could come out of commission for them to be engaged. I want to know why these nurses' documents are still in commission.
So
it's unacceptable.
The commission works for who it wants to work for.
That's what it looked like?
I mean, allegedly, reportedly, because what I'm saying is, if from 2023 these nurses were made registered nurses and with certificates in hand, and it's been in. By the way, is it your responsibility to push it through the commission?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Are you sure that their documentation is at the commission?
The very last time I went over to Human Resources, the Human Resources Department, I was told, oh, these were over in commission. These two still on my desk. Why from 2023, some people applications are still on the desk in Human Resources? Tell me why. Nobody could give me no answer. And not only that, Shanique, what blowing my mind about this whole Guyanian thing is this. We have a sitting acting director of nursing. That's the chief of nursing, right? She is sitting in that spot acting. She doesn't have an appointment letter to say that she's in the acting position. But the cruel part of all of that is her promotion papers was in commission 3 years ago for her to be promoted as the deputy PNO, Principal Nursing Officer. That has not yet come out of commission. And you,
No.
Shanique, no. I can't have it, Shanique.
I mean,
that's unacceptable.
People around here act so much they could be professional actors, because why is that sort of in limbo for so long? And meanwhile, they're performing these duties for the last 2-3 years.
They've been performing these duties. I am telling you, Shanique, we have nurses we're still waiting on. We had a promotion exercise done last year, March. We're still waiting. This is March again. We're still waiting for those promotions to be completed. Guess why? They still in commission. Where commission is?
Where is it? Tell us.
Where commission is that we can't get Bahamian nurses things done, and you could get these people come all the way from Africa.
Are you able to say when were they approached and then officially engaged, the Ghanaian nurses I'm talking about?
I know it was, I can't remember the exact date, but I know it was sometime last year, the latter part of last year.
What latter part? Are you saying they were approached and then all of this processed as quickly as you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And last year, meanwhile, the Bahamian nurses have been in limbo.
From 2023, Shanique, I am so, let me tell you something. Our government, I think, is just so not, I don't know what they're thinking and how they're working. We have nurses who got promoted last year in March in PHA. They were promoted in an acting position. Their acting position was supposed to have been confirmed and completed.
What do you mean, acting nurses?
Acting, they were promoted in their acting posts as acting nursing officers, and their promotion was on a probationary period, which was supposed to have ended in October of last year. Still acting. Still can't be confirmed. And like things just, I don't understand what is going on, Shanique. I don't understand. And when you could come and tell me that all these Ghanaian nurses are waiting for is to come to set foot on this island. And guess what? I understand big party and celebration already in place to welcome them. People will, Shanique, you know,
Madam President of the Bahamas
Shanique.
Nurses Union, I think you are being a little mischievous because because party for what? Party for what?
Welcoming reception. Shanique, this madness need to stop.
What are your nurses saying? These are members of your union, or are they even as yet? Because they're not officially engaged.
Because they're not officially engaged, they're not really members of this union. And you see, that's something right there. But these are our potential nurses.
They're needed. Because the system is being depleted on a regular basis as we speak.
As we speak, Shanae, I have a nurse who just got her licensure, and she said, Madam President, I'm not going to sit down here forever to wait on an appointment letter. They have options. And we are here talking about how we could keep our nurses here in this country, and you won't be giving us, it's like you giving us the crumbs from the master's table, like you are afterthought.
How does this sort of stalling at the commission level keep them in limbo? These nurses who are qualified, who are registered nurses. Listen, that's the highest level you could be in as a nurse. This isn't somebody training to get to the registered nurse level. That's why they're being scouted by the United States in particular. How are their lives being held in limbo? And what I mean by that is, you can't maybe access loans and other sort of things just to enhance your life that you would want.
You can't, like you said, because they're not even appointed, they're not confirming those posts. Those persons who would have been appointed and still not confirmed, waiting on confirmation again, it's in commission, okay? So those persons, they're not able to get a job letter to say that I work here, if I want to go get a home, or I want to buy a car, I want to do something, they have no job letter to get, but they get it from. And so if they go anywhere to say they want to do anything and they require a job letter, bam, that out of the window.
Oh boy.
That's out of the window. And so you could see why, Shanique, sometimes I can tell you, I can't even sleep when it comes to these nurses. I can't sleep, Shanique. I get up in the morning, and sometimes my mind is on these nurses, and I'm like, God, I asked the Lord the other day, I said, God, when I get up, the first thing on my mind I want to be is you. Then let me go to these people. Every time I get up in the morning, these nurses are on my mind. I don't know how the people in commission could sleep. Because if
maybe that's what they're doing.
Well, they're sleeping on the job.
I think maybe that's what they're doing because, obviously, when they desire to sleep, because the Ghanaian nurses have been approached, processed, and approved.
So tell me what is holding up our nurses? Shanique, I tell you no lie. When those 26 nurses came to me, one of the nurses said, Madam President, I know I need something done. She said, because I have been evicted twice out of a home. Evicted twice.
So that means that even their salaries aren't where they should be because they're not officially engaged at their new qualification and level. Oh, wow.
They on stipend.
On what?
And they're stipends, and then they're working and they're going out and they're doing the clinic. They function in the clinic as a registered nurse. They're going out and doing home visits out in the community and meeting people, doing nursing care out there in the community, not being paid because why? They can't be paid the mileage allowance because why? They're not
recognized.
Hired.
Yes.
But you're doing this work.
But you're doing the work.
And then they think it's good to say, oh, when your papers come through, then we gonna have the back payer. But now the responsibility is on them to keep these dates as to when they being out to see Shanique, because Shanique, come on, man, this ain't right. This our country, and the government is failing to realize that these nurses right here, they are the electorates. We're going into election season. These nurses have families.
Boy, Madam
these
President,
nurses seeing how the government treat them. They better stop.
Madam President, okay. you hit exactly where everybody is paying attention now. You say it's election season. Play. That's what you're saying?
That's what it is.
Play. Listen, I thank you very much. We're going to continue to follow what's happening there with the Bahamas Nurses Union when the Ghanaian nurses come. Certainly those Bahamian nurses by then should be officially engaged and have their papers with them because I can imagine then what the response will be. Thank you.
You can see plenty
Bahamas colors.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam President. President of the Bahamas Nurses Union, Muriel Lightbourne, speaking out on just wanting her nurses to be officially engaged with paperwork so that they don't have to be evicted and face eviction and working on a stipend since 2023. Thank you very much for stopping by this evening. We are just getting started this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Hey, check the website, one.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Rejuvenate, refresh, treat yourself. Immerse yourself in total comfort. Pamper yourself. After all, you're worth it. Relax. Rid yourself of all life's stresses. At Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa, you will find everything you need to enhance your body and spirit. Call today at 323-6711. and begin your journey to serenity at Baja Retreat Anti-Aging Spa.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
you work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, in our first segment, you heard the president of the Bahamas Nurses Union, Muriel Lightbourne, talk about the need for her nurses, many of whom have been working sort of in limbo since 2023, according to her, needing to be officially engaged by the public service and by, I guess, the public service, so that they can get to working and officially be engaged with papers in tow, especially as she says the public health sector is awaiting the arrival of 35 nurses from Ghana. And so she was lobbying for that. But we're going to get into some opinions and perspectives on that. Joining me right now is Beyond the Headlines contributor Garth Rosborough. Garth, good evening to you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again, Shanique. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you here, Garth. Garth, you sat through the president of the Nurses Union and what she had to say in terms of making a plea for her nurses to be officially engaged, to bring them on in the system. They have been waiting for this engagement since 2023, and in particular, as they are having some incoming nurses, she wants that kind of done before then, so that everybody's on a level playing field and moving forward and serving the Bahamian people. Your thoughts about these nurses who have been just made to kind of wait for this paperwork to be processed and have in their hands since 2023?
Yeah, I think we're just seeing the same story play out over and over again repeatedly, where Bahamian people are just simply being disrespected. And I've always been one where I've always said that no matter who you see a person as, there should be some decency and some level of respect. When you're speaking about a nurse, nursing is not an easy profession. As you know, I have a nurse in my home. And I know my father, who was a tutor for nurses in anatomy and physiology, the long nights of studying, going on the job training. It is extremely dangerous as a job, long hours. And of course, you're open to any diseases that may be like COVID-19. You may be susceptible to these type of diseases. So it is a job that has an enormous amount of sacrifice. And for these people to be out there
especially
in the field,
coming in at the registered nurse level. See, RN is a whole different level of nurse,
of course,
than the ones who would be training in this and that and the next. These are registered nurses.
Of course. And as a matter of fact, many of these nurses know their jobs better than some of the physicians. As a matter of fact, many times in the medical system, the nurses are actually the ones who are doing all of the work as the doctors sign off. And so these people are extremely important in building our health system. And to simply see someone else from another country is going to be served, the dignity of a decent wage, of the top honor of just being a registered nurse in the Bahamas, compensated as such, I would definitely say is a slap in the face. I don't know what financial rationale they will have for this. I don't know why they feel that it's now necessary. Yes, there is a drain of nurses from our country going north of us. But these are things that the government can address. I've sat numerous times with you and in other spaces where the nurses have made their cries very, very plain. It doesn't take rocket science to figure out what these nurses are complaining about. Things like health insurance or better health insurance, better working conditions. These things are what we call decency. But this is not being given to these people. And right now, I stand with the president of the Nursing Association and say, you know what? You go, girl. You have a right to fight for the rights of nurses in this country.
I absolutely agree. And to hear her say, of course, she is an official and an elected one at that. So her word certainly can be trusted that they are working on stipend since 2023, meaning obviously they're not earning the full salary of a registered nurse.
Not just a stipend, Shanique, a stipend in the midst of rising cost of living.
Oh, yes. Inflation,
and so as things continue to escalate, you have to have those uniforms pressed neatly. You have to make yourself very much presentable. And if they cannot afford to live, if they cannot afford to get the basic necessities of life, like a decent running car to come to work on time, simple things like just affording your rent, like she said, or your mortgage, these things can basically break down our own medical profession in this country. No wonder why nurses are leaving this country in droves. Right now, north of us, they're prepared to take all of our nurses if they could. And so I would employ those nurses who are waiting to stand with your president and to ensure that you remain just steadfast, remain as a solid forum, and make sure that the government truly understands that it's not just even about the upcoming election promises, it's about doing something now.
No, it has to be done now. I absolutely agree with you. Well, listen, let's move along, Garth. Prime Minister Davis is today, he said it from yesterday, actually, and we'll just pick up this discussion. He's sort of echoing what leaders around the region are saying. U.S., you know, we hear you and what you're saying about Cuba and Cubans' healthcare professionals who are engaged in many nations around the region for any period of time. You all ain't gonna bully us because on one end you are coming after our professionals because they are qualified, they're skilled, there's great work ethic, and you see that, so therefore you come and offer them wonderful, lucrative packages, but yet we can't take advantage of what Cuba has to offer. Our people too need to be serviced. And so Prime Minister Davis is saying, no. We're going to stand on our ground here. Of course, the United States is saying that their issue and their, I guess, hopes of having addressed and not exist is human trafficking and what is, I guess, potentially boils down to slave labor along those lines. Your thoughts of how Prime Minister Davis, like everybody else, is saying, slow your roll, Trump and the Trump administration?
Well, this whole situation actually goes as far back as 2019.
I was about to tell you, it is not new.
This is not a new subject matter.
And I don't want people to think it's a Donald Trump or the Trump administration thing.
It was the first Trump administration that actually had campaign promises, and they were anti-Cuban and anti-Venezuelan.
But it's even the last administration, too,
that had a part to play.
A part to play, who were talking about and kind of sort of charge up the region, saying, listen, about this human trafficking type thing.
Yes. And so where that places us is in a very sensitive situation. We cannot speak for the Prime Minister of the Bahamas or his cabinet or his team, but we very well know that it is definitely going to affect us here in the Bahamas either which way. This is almost like a no-win situation. We'd like to remain neutral, but at this particular juncture, I personally, if I were to sit in such authority, I would be very careful how I speak, because not only does it affect our nation, but also affects us internationally. Where Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, sits is further to the south. She's in a whole different region than the Bahamas is.
So you're saying that the impact on her does not equal the impact on us?
It never could.
Well, I'll tell you this, before you continue, let's hear Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, speaking to this very issue.
This matter with the Cubans and the nurses should tell us everything that we need to know. Barbados does not currently have Cuban medical staff or Cuban nurses, but I will be the first to go to the line and to tell you that we could not get through the pandemic without the Cuban nurses and the Cuban doctors. I will also be the first to tell you that we paid them the same thing that we pay Bajans, and that the notion, as was peddled not just by this government in the US, but the previous government, that we were involved in human trafficking by engaging with the Cuban nurses was fully repudiated and rejected by us. Now, I don't believe that we have to shout across the seas, but I am prepared, like others in this region, that if we cannot reach a sensible agreement on this matter, then if the cost of it is the loss of my visa to the US, then so be it. But what matters to us is principles. And I have said over and over that principles only mean something when it is inconvenient to stand by it. No, we don't have to shout, but we can be resolute. And I therefore look forward to standing with my CARICOM brothers. I wish I could say brothers and sisters, but brothers, to be able to ensure that we explain that what the Cubans have been able to do for us, far from approximating itself to human trafficking, has been to save lives and limbs and sight for many a Caribbean person.
You know, this is a great point she makes. The region relies on outside. We saw in the first segment, we're bringing in Ghanaian nurses, according to the Bahamas Nurses Union president. We need a lot of this because what's happening, the region's medical professionals are being scouted and enticed to go to the great United States for better opportunities. And who blames them if that's what they do, are doing, and they are. And so therefore also the need for expertise, which I understand Cuba has an abundance of doctors in particular who offer certain expertise. And so it's really a tough spot the region finds itself. But you were saying before we went to that clip that while and it's good to see CARICOM standing together, it's really awesome, but you're saying that the Bahamas' tone should be a little different than, say, Barbados' tone.
Well, first, let's just applaud our Prime Minister for taking a strong stand. First of all, you made a very strong statement. I'm not certain how many more statements you will allow yourself to make.
So you're saying he doesn't need to make much more after this?
I personally wouldn't encourage him to, but I'm not an advisor or consultant to him, but it's just my view that at this particular time, the least that you say, the better for you.
Yeah.
As for Ms. MAR13TH, who is the Prime Minister of Barbados, like I said, she sits to the south. The impact on visas and tourism is far different than ours. Tourism is our #1 industry, and most of our tourists come from the north. We're talking just over 80 miles away. And so what happens when the bully decides that he wants to bully further? What happens is even the nurses who want to go to the north to work, those doors would be closed even to them. Is the Bahamas prepared to take care of herself? We are accustomed to a beautiful lifestyle. When we look at Miss Shanique Middleton, I got to throw this in a little mischievous sometime, but she looks absolutely gorgeous. You know, are you prepared to lose your gorgeous appeal? Are you prepared to drive or to ride a bicycle instead of driving a nice Mercedes-Benz or BMW?
So you're saying the U.S. responsible for...
Well, who's going to feed you?
Go ahead. You're right.
Who's going to feed you? You're not even prepared to grow your own food. We're not like Barbados who eats cassava flour. You don't even know what cassava flour even looks like. These people have friends to the south. You have Venezuela, you have Colombia, you have Panama, you have Brazil, you have Guyana. All these people have food to eat that they can actually send to Barbados, assist Barbados in a crisis. Who is going to send any food to the Bahamas? We cannot even get a mango from Haiti to the Bahamas. It has to go through Miami. And so if they decide they wanted to shut us down, who are we to say they can't? Where are we going to get our aid from? Does it come from Britain? Does it come from Europe? Does it come from China? Does it come from Africa? These are the questions that they will have to be asking themselves. But I almost assure you that at this particular time, we just want peace. Just one piece.
Okay, and you're right. Maybe the region as a grouping, because Grenada's prime minister has been tough, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we see MAR13TH, while admitting that, listen, this is just a disadministration thing. It was from the former two, but saying, hey, the region then as one voice has to come to a happy median. Like you say, the Bahamas has already made its position clear. Maybe just mum. Yeah. From here.
When you start threatening the visas of politicians, man, how our friend Fred Mitchell can fly if he don't have the documents to fly where he want to go? My friend got to fly. Brave got to go feed some monkeys. We just got to go around the world and do our thing, Shanique Miller. Bahamians like to fly to Miami. We go to Georgia. We go to Canada. We go on Caribbean cruises. We go on Mediterranean cruises. Bahamians, we love to travel. Who is the one to our north who's responsible for the lifestyle that we have? We all know the truth. It's always been North America.
Yeah.
Has North America been consistent Absolutely not. This is why China's been able to creep in.
And
say, you know what,
region,
I can offer you some gifts.
Yeah.
But the offering of gifts in terms of medical, in terms of just the stadium and every other gift that they're giving to us, it is starting to make America a bit nervous. I recall when the American embassy was right across from the British Colonial Hotel. And the minute the British Colonial Hotel was sold, with the interests of China, they moved to East Street on top of the hill. They are not too comfortable being this close to China. But us being 80 miles away, we have a decision to make, and I'm going to leave that in the hands of the Prime Minister.
Yeah, you're right. He spoke strongly. That's on record. And perhaps just leave the rest alone and see, because the U.S. needs us as much as we need them.
Yes, we do.
You know, as has been said, any thoughts of human trafficking and the region, including the Bahamas, taking advantage of Cuban health professionals have absolutely been proven not to be the case.
Yes.
And so, you know, let's just move forward. I just want to quickly talk about what is, and I want to get perhaps next week a mental health professional on to talk about just the suicides. What is happening? First of all, we've had women and men just this year, but just more men. I mean, there's crime with men being mainly the victims, and then suicides now. What are your thoughts about just Bahamians in unprecedented ways and numbers resorting to that?
If we are truthful to ourselves, Shanique Miller, many people that are walking around us at some time in their life has possibly either considered suicide or hurting themselves. Everyone goes through some period of depression or downfall, disappointment. People who are known to love God, they find refuge in God. They find refuge in churches. They find refuge in schools. They find refuge in places where they can get the assistance that they need to lift their spirits. Right now, as we see the enormous amount of these type situations, it is not welcoming at all. It is painful. It's just a feeling in one's heart that is almost unexplainable. I want to encourage Bahamians to just simply be more brotherly, more sisterly, more loving. Do not take for granted that other people are well, Shanique Miller. Smile doesn't mean that you're well.
No.
The clothes that you wear doesn't mean that you're well. The type of home that you live in doesn't mean you're well. The job position that you have does not mean that you're well. We need to have in-depth conversations with the people that we care about, our neighbors, especially parents, Shanique Miller.
Parents must.
And parents must. As they're getting older, it gets more challenging, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Parents also need that attention.
Encouragement, yes.
And encouragement and just to kind of feel free and to live their lives as well. And Garth, you're right. I have tried since 2017, officially 2018, to normalize the topic of mental health care.
Yes, I've seen you battle for people. I've seen this is a sacrifice that you make to put yourself out there to present that this is a reality.
It's a reality.
And I want to applaud you for that.
Thank you. Let's normalize that. Garth, listen, let's move on quickly because I don't want this segment to end without us getting to this one. Listen, yesterday around, in the afternoon, I guess maybe like from 2-ish until whenever, 2 former prime ministers were seen at lunch. People said they had coffee first, then they sat leisurely and enjoyed lunch. Those 2 former prime ministers, Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham and Prime Minister Hubert Minnis. Garth, what are your thoughts about that? Speculations, of course. It has fueled tons of speculations, opinions, thoughts, people's imaginations running wild. But your thoughts?
Well, I'm not one to give in much to speculation. I try to be as sensible as I possibly could. But I see nothing wrong with 2 friends having lunch. I know they've had a spat in the past.
Their relationship was thorny for a minute, it appears.
Very thorny. I've seen the signing of a book, and, I would think that certain things were squashed. I would also believe that a conversation probably occurred that spoke to the possibility of the future career of Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis. Does he have a role in the Free National Movement, or does he continue outside of the Free National Movement? But what I do know for certain is that Hubert Alexander Ingraham is that professor of Bahamian politics. He's a man who's been able to basically dictate the outcome of elections, and any wise politician in the Bahamas or any aspirant in the Bahamas would do well to sit and have coffee and tea with Hubert Alexander Ingram.
So the thing is, Menace is still relevant, you feel?
Always relevant. Every Bahamian is relevant. But him in particular, in the role that he sat in, he is admired by many.
And still relevant for the FNM.
But see, I want people to understand something in the FNM. I'm going to say this, I'm not in the FNM, but I'm going to say this to the FNM. Because the convention decides that someone is popular enough to be, doesn't necessarily mean that the nation believes that they're popular enough to be. You have to go ahead and measure carefully. If victory is what you're after, let no man deceive you. Set your eyes on the mark and do whatever it takes to win, because this is what politics is truly all about.
So
winning.
Who's the mark for the FNM?
I just said victory. I don't know how you're going to get it, but you're not going to get it by talking too much and doing nothing about it.
Thank you very much, Garth Rossborough.
I still think you're lovely. Think beautiful. See, you got me almost speechless tonight. I had to find words tonight.
I know. Listen, you are never a man short on words. That's for sure. Garth Rossborough, thank you very much. A great, wonderful hot topic segment. Your perspectives and thoughts and opinions. You middle of the road. Ain't trying to be too extra and know which way. Thank you very, very much. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to meet a young boat captain. Can you believe this?
Yes.
He calls himself Captain Troy, or he's known in the industry as Captain Troy. He is not just out there doing things. He also wants to bring open the industry by teaching high schoolers and anyone interested in the skill of boating, sailing, and I guess boat building. Well, we'll find out more when we come back right after this break.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Who are the boss for dancer?
International events and production, Alive, Bahamas Air, Everybody Wins Live, and Field of Vibes Bahamas Weekend presents
the Evolution Concert on Saturday, March 29th at Clifford Park, featuring Vibes Cartel and Friends.
Bahamas, Nassau, where you see Saturday the 29th of March.
It's one of the biggest events to hit the shores of Nassau, Bahamas.
Get ready for Adi the Teacher, the Dancehall King, aka the World Boss, Vibes Cartel.
Real bad man, no muggle in a shot.
Log into our official airline Bahamas Air for travel specials. It gets better. We're also giving away a brand new Cybertruck.
And up to $50,000 in cash and prizes at the concert. Compliments of Everybody Wins Live.
Log into our website, feelthevibesweekend.com.
For tickets, tables, skyboxes, and more info.
Visit Ticket Flair or email intlevents242@gmail.com.
WhatsApp or call 1242-808-2369.
A member cartel I go did it.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tony Williams Darling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands, like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
Island Lux Sportsbook is taking you to the NBA playoffs. That's right. Every $20 bet placed between February 24th and April 1st earns you an entry to win an all-expense-paid trip to an NBA playoff game. Imagine being in the stands, feeling the energy, and watching your favorite team battle for a championship. The more you bet, the more chances you have to win. So don't miss out. Place your bets now at Island Lux Sportsbook and get ready for the experience of a lifetime. Weekly drawings every Tuesday at 3 p.m. starting March 4th. Visit islandluck.com/sports for more details. Who's ready to fly off to the NBA playoffs?
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, Captain Troy Roca has been in the business for the last 10 years, sailing as an independent captain. He mainly captains catamarans. Now, of course, I'm speaking like I understand all of that and the difference between boats and ships and all that stuff, but he's really made an impact. In fact, he's highly sought after and is oftentimes engaged for special sailing trips and excursions and that type thing. What he's doing now, though, is taking his skills, his expertise, his education on the sea and in boating to schools to help bring along others so that they realize, in fact, sailing has become the nation's official sport. Yes, which is really, really awesome. We know the potential there. And so this is really awesome to see what it is that he's doing and trying to reach out to many other from the high school level and anywhere in between. So welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you here, Captain Troy, as he is called. Good evening to you and welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good afternoon, Ms. Miller. Thanks for having me on board.
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you on board, eh?
Yeah, right. Let's keep it professional. Let's keep it involved.
I see that. I see. Right. So listen, let's just talk about your love for the industry and what got you interested.
Basically, it started from a child. My dad himself, he's a captain. His name is Captain Troy Brown. So I carry my mom's last name. So it started off from at a young age, probably like 3-4 years old.
Don't swing, just stay focused.
Probably like
right
3-4 years old. My dad would take me out on the boat and he would actually show me the basics in terms of how to tie lines, how to drop anchor, how to navigate itself. I basically started getting more deep into it after I came out of school. Mm-hmm. So what happened was after I came out of school, things started to go left with me itself and I just needed to find a way out, and getting more.
You mean you were going down the wrong path for a minute?
Yes, I was going down the wrong path.
Okay.
So I just needed to find a way out. So my dad quickly stepped in, growing up in a completely different environment. He completely stepped in and he decided to, well, hey, you're going to come back out on the boat and this is what we're going to do. And because I got back into it, I immediately found my purpose because I pretty much knew what I wanted to do from a young age. So I dived into it immediately. Had a chance to meet a few captains who was very professional and decided to take me under their wing. And what they did was they created a new me, basically, in terms of transforming me from being this guy into another guy.
You feel as though boating saved your life.
Basically, and I think that because of boating, if it wasn't for boating for me, I probably wouldn't have been this person I am today. So what I want to do is I want to try to convert young men and females as well, who probably don't know where to go and probably how to get themselves out of the situation that they're in. And I'm trying to get to them, not just physically, but more mentally, you know, so more of a training facility where they could come out, they could actually learn how to operate the boat physically. Anyone who wants to join the maritime industry, but not just learn it physically, create a different mindset with it itself as well, where they not just think negatively, but more positively and know that it's a way out anything, you know?
Yeah, that sounds really awesome, and it's good what you're doing. What disturbs you when you see the crime level? So many young men and women in increasing numbers, but young men falling victim to the streets, maybe with mental health issues or whatever, just maybe even a moment of something happening and taking their lives, and then knowing what you know now of what can actually be a potential savior.
Yeah, basically them not having their own mind. That's what really disturbed me because us as young men, and not just men, but us as humans itself, we have our own mind. So you pretty much know when you're not doing right. You get to a point in your age where you realize that, hey, this don't make no sense. This isn't working out. And for them not to want to change the way they're going or actually change the course of their own life is kind of tragic because as a young individual myself growing up in the industry and just growing up amongst other persons, my peers and other peers, I realized that if it ain't you, then nothing is going to change. It starts from you itself. You know what I mean? So you can't blame persons for actually putting yourself in a situation you can't get yourself out of. You know what I mean? I used to listen to Miles Monroe, I still do, and he always would say, the decision you make today determines your future. You know what I mean? So me coming on the talk show today, basically, I just want to get out to the young kids to realize that it's to do it now. You know what I mean? I want them to do it now. If they
and that there is a way out.
Exactly.
From wherever they think they are right now, there's a way out.
It is a way out.
Now, you feel as though the way out is the boat. This is a program he's developed called the Boat Tutor. The Boat Tutor. What are you doing with the Boat Tutor even right now?
So right now I'm working alongside a few schools that's helping me to implement more in terms of safety and compliance. Teaching persons how to actually operate boat in terms of docking. I teach persons how to sail, how to actually use the sails the right way. I'm teaching persons how to actually dock their boat in the element itself, wind, current, tide. I'm teaching persons how to actually navigate, how to read the water. I'm teaching persons how to actually become mates.
You mean practical? You're taking them out on the water and this is happening?
Yeah, everything. They come on the boat. From they get on the boat, they have a chance to see what to do, what not to do, how to check the engines, what to look for when they check the engines, what to look for, and how to actually use the instruments on the boat to help save lives. Just how to be a all-around person on the boat, just in terms of safety and compliance itself. We had a lot of boat accidents that happened within the past 5 years, and it was kind of sad. And I personally feel as though if those persons that understand the rules of the water itself, which we call the rules of the road, a lot of those accidents would have been 100%
So
avoided.
your program is not only geared toward persons in high school, but also adults who need the training?
Yes.
How many schools are you working with now?
So right now I'm only working with 2. I'm working with Cadets, Maritime, and Shipmate. I take some of their students out that's actually preparing themselves to become captains, and I teach them how to actually dock the boat physically. So I take them out on my boat, and we have about an hour or 2 out to sea, and they have a chance to go behind the wheel, the throttle itself, and I teach them how to use the throttle, how to steer the boat, how to put it in the slip, and how to tie lines.
That all sounds technical, but quite nice, because it's for you, it's turned into quite a nice career, hasn't it?
So far, I'm still working on getting it out there, but it's going to turn into a life changer for everyone, not just myself.
Now you want to sort of maybe get the attention of the Ministry of Education
Yes.
to get this into more schools.
Yes.
Speak to that.
Yes. So basically, what I want in Ministry of Education to do in terms of helping me with the senior school students, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th graders, I want to try to have a facility where they could actually come and I could help them create their career path or help them actually achieve what they want to achieve in their career path in the maritime industry itself. So whether they want to be a part of the yachting industry, whether they want to be a part of tankers, whether they want to be on the catamarans like myself, whether they just want to be an entrepreneur in the field itself, I just want to help structure persons and try to help them know what to do and what not to do in terms of making that actually come to life.
And where can you be contacted?
So my number, you could actually hit me up on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram. The company name is The Boat Tutor. I have 2 numbers. I have a WhatsApp hotline. It's 808-16.
Speak clearly so they could hear you and understand you properly. What is the name of your social media handles?
My social media handles is called The Boat Tutor.
The Boat Tutor.
Yes.
Tutor.
Yes, Tutor.
One word?
Yes, one word. One word. And I do have 2 contacts. that they can hit me up on. One of the contacts is 808-1644. That's my WhatsApp hotline. And my other contact that they can hit me up on is 804-804-9561.
Very, very good. Now, how have you been making headways and reaching out to the Ministry of Education as yet?
Yes, so I actually have a meeting with Mr. Ollie Olseen March 17, the chairman of BMA. So I have a meeting with him in
Bahamas
terms of,
Maritime Association.
Yes, in terms of me getting the company itself more structured and to make it more structured where I could give certified certificates in terms of helping persons obtain their skills in boat handling itself.
Listen, Captain Troy, that is amazing because as we know, not every student nowadays is academically inclined. So if some of them could be directed toward something that is still a lucrative career, a rewarding one, a relaxing one,
and
Lord.
A life-saving.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Life-saving, all that stuff. Yeah. And then the sea is just so wonderful and relaxing and right.
Correct.
So therefore, less misery on the streets. If many of them could be sort of like directed towards what it is that you're offering. Really awesome. I'll give you an opportunity for a closing comment.
Okay, well, not too much of a closing comment, but for anybody out there that's trying to actually help themselves, like really, really help themselves, pulling themselves from out of the gutter, know that you should always continue to put God first, and faith without work is dead. So if you convert it and change it over, you realize that faith plus work create miracles. So stay focused, stay encouraged.
Miracles happen daily.
Yes,
I love that.
And keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. Give your phone numbers again.
My contact is 804-0495, and the other one is 808-1644.
Well, thank you, Captain Troy Roker, an experienced captain of more than 10 years. Also launching, a training school, really, the Boat Tutor.
Yes.
And he wants to step in and help other young people, number one, discover the sea and the wonderful careers that exist there, but also to rescue some of them so that they don't end up just being idle around and getting caught up into the wrong things and wrong influences on the streets. And so I commend you for that. Really awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Troy Roker. And listen, I want to thank, of course, at the top of tonight's show, Nursing Union President Muriel Lightbourne. In the second segment, we had Garth Rosborough and, of course, Captain Troy Roker. Thank all of my guests this evening. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Certainly enjoyed having you along. And I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.